The Royal Visit, July 3rd, 1959, by Emily Potter. July 3rd, 1959 was certainly a day many residents of Sarnia would never forget. It was the day Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip visited our humble city. During the royal couple's visit to Canada from June 18th to August 1st, Sarnia was one of the many stops on their tour. In anticipation for the Queen's July 3rd circuit, the Sarnia Observer assembled its biggest reportorial staff in its 106-year history. 29 people recruited to oversee the event were responsible for taking notes and photographs, either on site or behind the scenes. This number included 7 writers and photographers on loan from the Port Huron Times-Herald. In addition to press coverage, transportation planning had begun several months prior to the Queen's arrival. 20 buses were tasked with the pickup and delivery of approximately 8,400 children who were anxious to see their Queen. Children were picked up from 3 boarding points: Sarnia Collegiate Institute and Technical School, Central Collegiate, and Northern High School. They were taken to Canatera Park for the occasion and then returned. Children were under the care of adult volunteers who assisted the bus drivers en route to and from the park, as well as ensured the children were brought to their proper places once at Canatera. The joint operation, which involved Sarnia Transit Company and the city's bus services, each supplied 10 buses for the event. On the night of their arrival, Prince Philip could be seen on the starboard side of the flying bridge, steering the Britannia toward shore. The ship docked at Imperial Oil a few minutes before 9:30 p.m. Prince Philip and the regal Queen Elizabeth, clad in a red dress with white polka dots, a straw hat and a red band, a mink stole, and white accessories, were greeted by Mayor Ivan Walker and his wife, who escorted them to their motor car to promptly begin the tour into town. As the Queen looked out the window, as their car traveled down Christina Street, she would have seen such things as the Canadian National Railway tracks, Victoria Park, the library, and the post office. Newer stores and hotels rebuilt after the damage of the tornado in 1953 would have lined the route on each side of the cavalcade. The site of the Sarnia Armory, which had been torn down earlier that year, would mark the next leg of the tour, and from there the Queen would have beheld our beautiful St. Andrew's Church, as well as Our Lady of Mercy just a little further on her right. The Queen would have also passed by the county jail and the courthouse. The royal couple would have caught sight of Holmes Foundry, the Sarnia Golf and Curling Club, and all the well-appointed homes that lined the northeast side of Christina Street on the way to their first destination. The 11-mile tour included a stop at Canatera Park, where the car was greeted by thousands of excited citizens. As the Queen stepped out of the vehicle, followed by Prince Philip, who gave a wave to the crowd, the bands readied themselves to play the national anthem. O Canada was to begin when the Queen and Prince Philip took to the center of the dais. After their initial welcome of cheers from the crowd, the couple was introduced to dignitaries and were presented with flowers. One such lucky girl, Margaret Running, was honored with the task of presenting the Queen with roses. She was 6 years old at the time of the Queen's visit and was reported to have remarked, "I'm scared, Mummy," when the time to present was upon her. With some encouragement from her mother, Margaret greeted the Queen and bestowed upon Her Majesty an arrangement of beautiful roses. On their return to the Britannia, the royal couple circled Norman Perry Park. The extraordinary gathering at this location did not disappoint. Crowds of people as far away as Owen Sound and Cleveland, Ohio, stood 5 deep, hoping for the chance to glimpse their Queen. According to Red Wilson, who wrote an article for the Sarnia Observer, it wasn't the music, the perfect weather, or the appreciative crowd that stood out, but the array of colors seen in the mass of excited residents. The color red was seen on the scarlet-coated Mounties and the Sarnia Children's Band. Yellow represented the Sertoma Band. Blue was worn by the police, and a brighter blue of the Girl Guides. Brown appeared in the Brownie groups, and darker green denoted other local clubs. In addition, almost every child and adult waved a small flag which added to the rainbow of colors seen in the assembly. As the car cruised away from Norman Perry Park back to the Britannia, citizens dashed to the banks of the St. Clair River in hopes to see the ship go past on its way out to Lake Huron. The next stop on the tour would take the royal couple to Port McNicoll. According to onlookers, the vessel was lit from bow to stern, and when combined with the blinking lights of the U.S. Coast Guard and naval escort ships, it looked like something from a fairy tale. Although Sarnia was a short stop of many on the royal tour, those who were there that glorious evening will always remember their experience of exhilaration and joy, the togetherness of the community, and the unforgettable face of Her Majesty the Queen.